Whew. What's going on, guys? This is Bossrosslp, and welcome to yet another driving update. Get ready to see more of these lately. Here's hoping. I have actually no idea if I want to do more of these or what. But it is a somewhat chilly night on May 4th, 2017. At a good old 9:46 at night, I'm actually driving home later than I usually do, having just finished up my final for school. Technically my final. I also have one more final, but I don't consider it a final because it's a take-home final. So it's going to be a bit of a joke. Ladies and gentlemen, I am all done with my spring semester courses. And I am confident that I'm going to be passing all of them, which is very nice. It was a little bit sketchy there near the end, though I haven't exactly admitted that. It was a little bit scary, specifically my British literature course, which was more like a British history literature course, but a very fun course anyway. Oh dear, I'm just full of excited energy now. I actually slept very well today. Did everything I was supposed to do. Our parents had some fun with their computer getting attacked by Indians who were telling them that they were from Microsoft, and that they took control of the computer and told them that they could sell them $150 antiviral software. And my dad, being the tech-savvy man he is, absolutely agreed to this, but did not actually fully get through submitting all the information to get that ready before the computer was importantly shut off and fixed. So that was fun. That was certainly a thing that I had to deal with today, but for the most part, it was pretty fun. Excited energy, man. I'm like all done. No more going to school for now. I have 2 more weeks until I have to go back to school for summer classes, of course. It has changed a little bit. I thought I was going to be taking 2 courses at the campus. Now I'm going to be taking 1 course at the campus and 1 online because the 1 course was not enough people. So, that's fun. Oh dear. All filled up on gas, and I'm not that hungry, so I don't have to make any stops this time. So, this is probably going to be a shorter update video in general. Not to mention there's not nearly as much stuff to update on. Last time I did an update video, before the last one, was like 4 months ago. This one, I'm doing this update video after maybe 2 weeks or so after the last one was done. I recorded about like maybe a month ago, maybe a little less. It's not that important. For the time being, let's just get a nice long drive home and talk about things. So how are the projects doing? Fallout New Vegas is in pretty much the exact same position it was last time. I've taken a bit of a hiatus on it, just sort of give my computer the chance to free up some of its space. I mentioned that last time, so nothing much to say there. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations, yes, that one, not Justice for All, Trials and Tribulations. It is also in the same location. It's been doing its thing. Mostly the channel has been pretty slow lately. There have been minor updates here and there of certain things, small stupid crap I've managed to have to find the time to upload. Like, what was the most recent thing? I might have uploaded something with Overwatch. I don't know, maybe, no, probably not. It's probably something else. I don't remember if I did the upload spam before or after the update video. There was an upload spam, if I didn't already mention that, where I just uploaded a ton of stuff that was with me and Zuper. But that was a thing. As for... Also, I'm at a nice intersection, so people get to see me go crazy. Alright, we have a nice right turn here as soon as this car can leave. Give me a second. I promise I'll finish my updating as soon as I get this turn out of the way. Oh yeah, I'm going to get this turn out. Oh, my car turned left anyway. Fuck, alright. Well, that's fine. I was waiting for nothing. Okay, where was I? Yeah, the upload spam. So after the upload spam occurred, the channel has been somewhat slow with the stuff that's been uploaded. Recording has pretty much all been dedicated towards being with Zuper. It would be a little bit of U-Rums with me, Zuper, and Jaden. But mostly, recently, we've been doing Orcs Must Die Unchained, which is sort of the 3rd in the installment of the Orcs Must Die series. And they really fixed their shit together for this one. For the longest time, if you did not know about Unchained, it was essentially fucked in production because they tried to make it like a MOBA, a la League of Legends, a la Dota, a la Heroes of the Storm, and it got some backlash, some very heavy backlash, So they actually went out of their way, the creators, to create another game mode that was like Orcs Must Die 2. And I gotta give them props. They did a pretty good job. I'm pretty impressed. There are no flyers in the game, which I'm both on the fence happy and a little bit saddened about. It's a lot harder, like a fuckload harder. Me and Zuper both agree that it's harder than it was. Single player, Zuper says it's not that bad, but that's because I always drag him down. That's always how it works, no matter what game we play. I somehow manage to do worse than he does. Even in a game I actually, know, like Borderlands, I managed to still do worse than him somehow. Like, he gets really good with brick. He just bricks the shit out of me, It's always the standard. That said, though, 2-player in Orcs Must Die Unchained is hard as shit. We're thinking about getting 3-player in with Jaden, but I don't know how that's going to go. His computer's not exactly the greatest. So there have been some projects of that. I should mention that has been uploaded. They are very long parts. I am not going to bother to try and sift through that. I'm just going to upload each of the sessions we do. And I have been recording them. The sessions are large, but since they're recorded through XSplit, I don't have to worry about any Camtasia nonsense of just being like, you know what? The disk space. Sorry, we don't have any more disk space. And it just deletes the file. No, we have to worry about that. The most I would miss is, it would go off in the middle of a round, and then I just have to play the rest of the round without it, because there's actually no waiting in between waves. I mean, there sort of is, but it's timed waiting in between waves. Like, they gave you 60 seconds or so between some of the waves, and most of the time we try to, skip the waiting so we can go for the time bonus for the skull ranking, but I don't know. It's not important. I have not run into that problem yet, so I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. Okay, what else has happened? I deleted some stuff off my computer, specifically some of the programs that I have been using through Steam. A lot of the games that I have not been playing that often. There's still some games off Steam that I looked through, I'm like, oh shit, why haven't I played these yet? Like Valkyria Chronicles and Clannad. Like I said, I was going to play Clannad a while ago. I don't know why I never did that. That's more of a spring game, but, I just sort of miss spring. Who knows, maybe I'll do that right now and just, crank it out. I think it's actually sort of a longer-ish game, though. Not, super long, but longer than your standard, what would that type of game be called? Like dating simulator, sort of? It's a dating it's more like a school simulator in that respect. I don't know. That said, what have I actually been doing a lot of on my solo time? Well, apart from work and school, which is a common trend that I have been seeing for the past 2.5 to 3 years, I have actually been doing Pokemon Trading Card Game 2, which I mentioned in the last update video. I am very close to finishing that. I am on the final part before you fight Valenci. I need 10 more cards in order to complete the glossary. And I might just look it up, how to get all those cards in the glossary, and if it seems like it just be sort of pointless, I probably won't even bother. I've unlocked a lot in that game. I've unlocked a vast majority of everything that you need to get in that game. And once I finally finish that, have it all edited and uploaded, that's going to be good, because, like I said, uploaded. It's all going to be uploaded on the exact same day. It's just going to be a spam load where I throw out the whole project. It'll just be funny to do that. I don't remember if I've ever done that for a game. I might have done that for the 10th, or not the 10th project, the 8th or 9th project. That was the arcade rally, I believe it's called. I don't remember what it's called. It's like Snyder's or something arcade rally. Not Snyder's Bakery, but there's some sort of person's arcade collection on the Super Nintendo that me and Ian did way back when. We just played a round of each of the games. It was like Defender, Defender 2, Joust, Robotron, and Sinistar. Not since that have I believe we've uploaded them all in a row. And even then, I can't say whether or not I uploaded those all on the same day. Fire Emblem 6, I remember uploading a good portion. I returned to the game and uploaded all those episodes in like one day. Fallout 3 I've returned to and uploaded a good portion of those all in one day. In fact, both of those on like the same 2 days span. So I was like 60 episodes in 1 or 2 days, and that was ridiculous. I won't be doing that. I'll just be uploading all of Pokemon Trading Card Game 2, which the files are a lot smaller, so that should be very possible. I could probably get those all uploaded in like 4 hours or less. I'm keeping up to date on the editing. I have edited up to the fire, the second fireplace, which is sort of halfway through Valencia's Island, and in the game I'm actually right there at Valencia. So as soon as I get home, I'm probably going to just finish that off, or relatively soon when I get home, I'm going to finish that off. And that's sort of what's happening with the Pokemon Trading Card Game 2. I'm going to let the project mostly speak for itself. It's a pretty fun project. There have been some funny moments. Just last night I recorded a part where an Imikuni slapped 6 psychic energies onto one, I believe it was a Hypno, and I just one-shot him or two-shot him or whatever. That was really funny. I don't know why the computer AI did that. Imikuni does some really weird stuff, so maybe that's why. I've seen other opponents slap extra energy when it wasn't necessary. Maybe he was trying to prevent me from energy removing him all in one turn, but I definitely would have been energy removing him if I had the cards at that point, so I don't know. Maybe he had nothing else to place him on, he was just like, ah, fuck it, just throw him on there. There's another, an opponent that did do that a lot, placed a lot of energy on one Pokemon, but that's because he had a special rule in place where when his Pokemon was discarded after feigning, then all the energy went back to his hand. That was the Psychic Leader, who was a joke, by the way. That was also a funny fight, because he just decked himself out. He just threw in a bunch of bills, a bunch of oaks, and he just, like, decked himself out. It was hilarious. But I'm not going to sit here and spoil everything that's occurring in the game. I'm just going to say you're going to have to see it for yourself. Zuper, I really recommend you actually watch TCG2. Because you and I can have some good laughs about how broken the card game was back then. I don't know if it's still like that, but there are some questionable choices they made with making that card game. One of my absolute favorites is the fact that there's no hand size limit. You wouldn't think that would be that bad, but in Pokemon, there's a card that essentially lets you shuffle your hand into your deck, and you choose to draw like 1 or 8 cards. That card is disgusting. Because what you can do with it is you can stall like a motherfucker and deck the other player out. Essentially forever. You can stall forever as long as you continually throw out Gamble. It's disgusting, actually. That said, what I can say is that it is a vast improvement over the first game, I feel. The opponents are generally a lot stronger, throw out a lot of different cards. You have more options in general. There's just more choices, like, say, with a Pokemon like Magikarp and Gyarados, you had one choice. You had your one Magikarp, which had Tackle and Flop. Flop was just garbage. The most you could do damage-wise with that was 20 damage, so it was just garbage, unless you throw in a plus power, but that's beside the point. And the Gyarados, while I really like that Gyarados, it was just the one Gyarados, and a lot of Pokemon just had singular choices like that. Like Shelder and had one choice. Krabby had one choice. Oddish had one choice, and then other Pokemon like Pikachu had a shitload of choices. Other Pokemon had a couple choices, like Magnemite had 2 choices, but for the most part they've given you like plenty of choices with all the Pokemon that you can throw out, which is very nice. So certain Pokemon like Meowth can have like 6 cards dedicated to it, and 9 out of like all 6 of them require you have 2 colorless energy except for 1, and the one that doesn't is overpowered because it lets you flip for coins, or flip for cards by using coins. So there's definitely quite a lot in there. There's also a broken way to earn cards, which I demonstrate in the game. A very broken way to earn cards, which I demonstrate in the game. Oh shit, you know, speaking of that, I didn't actually do that one part of the game hall where I do the challenge of the multiple players in a row. I need to do that, don't I? Okay, so that's another thing I have to do on top of Valencia in order to actually say I've completed the game. But that said, that's the Pokemon Trading Card Game 2. I seem to have a really good completion rating for card games, and I don't know why. I guess I just really like grinding out the cards for some reason. You know, if we didn't have Duel Link Book as a choice, maybe I would eventually get into the Steam Yu-Gi-Oh game. And also, if they updated their card lists, that would be another reason to get into the game. But no, it does not seem like they're going to update their card list. And for a game like Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is constantly throwing in new cards, that's a bit of a problem. That's a very big problem, especially when they also recycle new rules, and they also add in new mechanics like link summoning. Nah, you don't need to update for those. You update once for the Steam game, and that's it. It's over. We'll release a new game in 2 years. Oh, Konami, what the fuck are your choices lately? I don't know. How can an independent dueling book constantly stay updated, but you are so incapable of doing so? It's like all your financing going straight to the pachinko machines. Is that all it is? I don't know. Me and Zuper have had conversations about this. Or Zuper and I should say. Let's get that proper English coming straight from British literature out there. Yum yum. Alright, let's do some turning here. My blind spot says we're good. Our blind spot says we're still good. And okay, good. This one part of the highway I have to do here is a little spooky, not too bad. Especially when it's nighttime and there's not too many cars. I'm just trying to get into like the left lane, mostly. That's most of how my driving goes. Okay. Anywho, what else is there to really comment about? U-Realms. U-Realms is something fun to comment about. So, after the interesting experience that was Season 1, me, Zuper, and Jaden, or Zuper, Jaden, and I, again, proper English, Ross, we moved on to Season 2, and we started with one of Zuper's campaigns. And as we mentioned in Campaign 8's second part, the first part was a little bit heated, considering Zuper's choices and my character's implications that I implied a little too much on my person in making a lot of shouting matches over some of the events that occurred. And that put a little bit of a hiatus on the actual chapter. However, it had a happy ending when we came back for part 2, and the nonsense that was that campaign fully explored and exploded into a very fun, very enjoyable experience. Also, I have a nice, very slow car in front of me who's sticking in the left lane. It's my favorite when they do that, because then I want to turn around, but then the other cars notice it faster than I do and start their turning around, and then they go around the car slower, and I can't get around them, and this person doesn't realize that they're in the left lane, and it's no fun. So, I'm going to do my best to try and go around him in a nice maneuver and see what happens. And we're in there. And I guarantee you, the second I go around him, he's probably going to jump into a different lane. Oh no, this one's dedicated to his ability of clogging the left lane. Love it. I love it when they're dedicated. Most of the time when I do it, after like a couple other people do it, then he's just like, oh, yeah, I should probably switch. Ross already did it. Okay, your challenge is over, Ross. But no, that person's like, no, I'm going to stick to left lane. I'm feeling this 60 miles per hour in the left lane. I'm feeling it. So what if the highway is all going at an approximate 80 miles per hour usual? That's okay. I'm going to 75 now, so it's not that bad. I don't know. Like, there's times in which it speeds up, and there's times in which it slows down again, and those all seem to have at least a little bit to do with the traffic, although at this time, I could realistically be going faster. It's not that important, though. I guess at this point when there's no traffic, you might as well just go like a standard 75-80, because there's no one to get around, there's no real reason to rush home. You're already coming home at 10 o'clock at night. I'm going to be home at like 10:30, so I have nowhere to be fast. I'm just going to rush no longer. I'm going to coast at a comfortable 80 and make my way home. Anywho, what else is there to talk about? I was mentioning U-Realms, so that's going to be happening. It seems like Jaden's going to be covering U-Realms 9, and I'm going to be covering U-Realms 10. I've gotten some of the very early pre-planning stages out for U-Realms 10. It's going to be a kids campaign, the first one we've done. I don't know what Jaden's doing for his, but he said that it's going to be more challenging than the past campaigns. For the most part, Jaden's campaigns are, I wouldn't say they're like the challenging ones, but they're the they're the combat-oriented ones. Zoopers are more the gimmick-oriented ones, and mine are the story/random-oriented ones, which input a lot of crazy shit into them. I don't think my next one's going to be super story-oriented, unless a certain somebody makes an appearance, which I will not spoil, considering I've only uploaded the prologue of the first campaign. I really need to get on that. This summer, I promise. In fact, these next couple weeks, I'll probably get myself on it. Since I'm essentially done, apart from that take-home final and work, I can probably get a jump start on that. I want to make sure I keep up to date on New Vegas, and I keep up to date on Phoenix Wright, but I'm okay at that point, because I'm not going to be starting any other projects for the foreseeable future until either those are finished or until the summer, in which I'm going to start the Wii games. In which case, I don't know which one I'm going to start first. Fragile Dreams, Feral Ruins of the Moon is definitely an option. I finished that. I finished the game, by the way. It was very interesting that I finished that game. I don't know if I mentioned in the last update video that I started... In fact, no, I don't believe I did. I don't believe I mentioned that I started playing the game, because it hadn't happened yet. Well, I did. I finished the game in like a week, and I gotta say, it was a pretty satisfying experience. It was very visually interesting. The controls were a little bit weird to get used to, but not too bad. The story was fun, very stupid at parts, but fun. There's a particular part I absolutely adore how stupid it is at the very end of the game. Again, like after the final fight, there's this particular part I'm going to mention that's just hilarious to me. As far as collecting goes in the game, I'm probably going to be looking up a walkthrough for getting all the collectibles, because I'm sure there are story implications from the collectibles. I did not collect all of them through my playthrough. I collected the vast majority of them, however, there were plenty that I did not grab. There were one or two where I'm like, how the hell did I notice that? So, proud to myself for that, and oh, wait, what the fuck? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So, this is a fun little situation. Seems that my exit is closed off. Good. So, when this happens, and my exit's closed off, I might need to open up Waze, although I know for certain that there is another exit that I can take. I can go for Cherry Hill or... Nah, I don't want to go for Cherry Hill. There's another exit that I can take. I believe it's Southampton. I want to take. This is actually pretty rare that I have to take this second exit. It's usually only when I forget to take the first exit, or I'm just like, ah, shit, well. Alright, well, time to focus a little bit on that, but for the time being, I'm going to stay mostly okay. I'm going to drive a little bit slower to make sure I don't miss my turn. Now comes the fun part where I'm glad I'm recording this in case I crash and die, although in that instance, I think the iPad would likely break, so it'd be a little bit of a loss. Anyway, Berlin, yeah, you know what? Just for the safety reasons, I'm going to open up Waze, and we're going to do that. I'm pretty sure I have my cellular data on. I should have. And it's going to slowly open up. I'm going to keep driving forward, keep my eyes focused on the road, and here we are. Home. Yes, let's go. What are we doing? In a quarter or half a mile, we're going to be turning right. Okay, cool. Yeah, that car's blazing fast. Guess I should get out of the left lane.
Quarter of a mile.
Yep. In a quarter of a mile. Oh, shit. I love it when it tells me to do something in a quarter of a mile, but it doesn't say what. I mean, obviously you're going to turn right. I mean, what am I going to do? Turn left into oncoming traffic? But still. So, not Berlin. Not to Coney Bridge. Yeah, here we go. After this bridge, I believe I take my turn. I think. Yeah, like right here. Oh, wait, no. Actually, never mind. We still have 3.5 miles. Just kidding. Just kidding. Fuck with me, why don't you? Okay. I thought it said half a mile, but then it's like, oh, wait a minute. Nah, just kidding. Alright. Either way, we're going to be doing some circling here. Where was I in the whole talking about updating video? I'm going to let Waze just sort of lead me home. I'll let it do that. What the hell was I talking about? Something pretty interesting. Oh, right. Fragile Dreams, Feral Ruins of the Moon. Yeah. That's an interesting game. I'm going to let it speak for itself for the most part. Another game I'm going to be doing is Last Story. Now, Last Story is another game I've played for the Wii. As you can tell, it's going to be We Would Like the Summer. I mentioned this in the update video. Last Story is going to be a longer project, while Fragile Dreams is going to be a medium-sized project. They're both going to be pretty fun. Last Story is probably not going to be a finish everything, although I'll inevitably finish a majority of the story stuff, so it'll be fine. Is there anything else to really say? I'm probably going to be doing Pandora's Tower and, what's the other one? Barack, I believe. Zuber has actually mentioned that he's seen most of these on store shelves before, which I have no freaking clue how he noticed the names. He was like, oh yeah, I've seen this before. No, it wasn't store shelves. It was on the Wii U, or the Wii's virtual console. I'm like, what the, seriously? They're on the virtual console. That kind of blows my mind a little bit, that they actually existed on the virtual console. But, oh, I guess so. I mean, there's no reason why they couldn't exist. I've checked the Wii's virtual console, and the only game they have by Exceed is some sort of playing game. And most of the games I'm going to be doing for this We Would Like the Summer are going to be RPG-esque games like that by Exceed. We got 1.2 miles before our turn. Okay, it's probably going to be telling me in a second. This is unfamiliar territory. I don't like it. There we are. Yep. This is familiar. Mount Holly. Right. Yep, we're going to be taking this turn on Mount Holly. Okay. Once I do this turn, I should be pretty much good to go. This is going to lead me towards my community college I took for 2 years. Well, one of my halves of community college. There was actually 2 of them, and I went to one and the other, both in conjunction with each other. Yes, and also the Funplex. Ooh, the Funplex. That's a fun story. It used to be called the Falls, but after a kid fell and hurt his leg, they thought that wasn't appropriate anymore, so they changed it to the Funplex.
Quarter of a mile, exit right.
Okay, you're pretty much good to go. I can say you're done ways. Hopefully no one at home is going to get worried about me being super late, on top of missing my, usual time of leaving school. I'm also going to be going down a separate way to get back home, which is much slower. I mean, well, not that much slower. It's probably like 10 minutes slower in general, but that's still noticeable as an extra 6 tacked on to my journey. And this way I do not get to pass by my Burger King, but not like I was really planning to pass by it. Alrighty. Now we turn right. You know, after you've done plenty of highway driving...
1 mile, keep right.
Yeah, I gotcha. I know how to get home from here. Wade, you can shut up. After doing plenty of highway driving, I've started to notice that a lot of the highways look exactly the same. And I swear they do that on purpose. Like, that turn I just did looks pretty equivalent to the turn-off I do to get to my college itself. It's very weird how they do that. So it said to keep right. What does it mean by keep right? Okay, I see what it's telling me to do. Okay. Sometimes it's a little bit weird, but other times it's just like, it's logical what you have to do. Okay. Well, I don't know if there's a ton... Oh my lord, that person in the right lane there is just like, fuck you guys. I'm gonna go flying by. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah. I don't think there's too much else to really update on. I guess I could say a little bit on the anime talk show. It's not really progressing super fast, as you can probably tell, thanks to school. But again, I do have all the setup I need now. I have the iPad, and it would be fantastic if I could be taking notes on that I want to take. I have the keyboard ready for the iPad. I do not have the pen stylus prepared. I have the Andinit pen. I have it, which will help me take notes on the iPad. What I don't have is the little gel disc that you need in order to actually utilize the pen. Now, I'm going to say my B here, I accidentally threw that out when I first got the pen. I looked at the little disc, and I did not realize it. I'm just like, oh fuck, I don't need that. So I threw it out. And I come to realize I do need that. I'm like, well, whatever. I'll shill out the, $6 I need or whatever plus shipping in order to get the pen's gels back. And I get like 3 discs for it, so it's like, okay. Well, I would have probably inevitably had to get a new one anyway, because this thing is like really small and easy to lose. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll just take it. So I go and look online, and what I'm greeted to is the fact that this Antoinette pen is unfortunately made in Japan. Now what this means, specifically since it's like only listed in Japan, probably for manga artists and shit like that, is that the gel discs all have to be delivered from Japan. And I said, well, fuck. That's a problem, because that is like shipping that's about the same price as the fucking discs themselves, and also I'm gonna have to wait about a month for them to be delivered. So I said, fuck that. And I went looking, and I was eventually able to find a deal in which I could get the Antoinette or get the gel things for like a little bit more expensive, maybe like $1 or $2 extra, and I had no shipping costs, and instead was going to be delivered, quote, on April 12th. It is May 4th, and I have not received those discs. I keep looking. I constantly keep looking. Nothing. I sent an email. Nothing. Send an email to Amazon. Nothing. Absolutely no response. It's starting to get to the point where either I start spamming messages or I cancel the order if I'm still able to at this point, and just bite the bullet and go for the month-long shipping it's going to take. I don't know what would be faster at this point. Because at the same time this is happening, I know that Phalis just got his Pokemon cards for the bootleg zones. He's like, or not the bootleg, it was like the Pokemon Go, the Pokemon Go cards. And he said these took 5 months to deliver, and he gave up on them ever showing up. So maybe it's that type of situation where they're just going to take for fucking ever to ship. They're like, oh fuck, we forgot to ship these. I don't know. It's been a while since I've had this problem. And ironically, I had the same problem again with SpongeBob, the movie on PlayStation 2, the game, which I've heard is like Battle for Bikini Bottom, so I want to give that a try, maybe play that as a Let's Play. I don't know if I'd do that blind or what, but hey, I'd give it a try. Playing another SpongeBob game, that'd be fantastic. If it's just like Bikini Bottom, or at least has a similar style to Bikini Bottom, I'm all for it. Bikini Bottom is the tits. So, if you did not already know that, seriously, go play Battle for Bikini Bottom. It's like top 5 collectathons. I wouldn't say it's Banjo-Kazooie level, but for me it's Banjo-Kazooie level. For everyone else it probably isn't, but it is that level of nostalgic collectathon. Anywho, I don't know what to do about those gel tip things. I don't know. Like the discs, they're... What do you want me to do? I could try my very best to wait, but at this point it's like I want to get started. I can still take notes, but I can't take pen-related notes. And like actually physically writing notes, I feel like I write faster that way. And also, well, not true. I guess I do type a little bit faster than I write. But there's certain things where I do like to draw, and it would be helpful to have that ability. But I don't have that ability because this game is shitting all over my, or not the game, this shipper is shitting all over my dick. It's lovely. So, that said, I don't know. It's annoying. On the plus side, something did ship properly, and that was my first 7 seasons of Simpsons, which I've wanted to have a nice go back and watch. Simpsons was a part of my growing up. Not a super big part, considering I was 1995, and by that point, I think Simpsons was already on at least their 5th season, I think. But I grew up with the 2nd and the 6th season in my house. But I've recently reordered both of those, as well as 1 through 7, in order to sort of applicate myself into the lore of Simpsons. Just to sort of round myself out, to have more knowledge about the show that I grew up with, and I sort of want to get to know more about, because I'm watching a lot of clips from YouTube now, and it's sort of making me remember just how funny this show was, and how many jokes I didn't get when I was a kid. So I'm going to be definitely enjoying this show. I'm starting with the first season, and I'm noticing how clunky it is. So far, first impressions, Homer like, I know people said he's gotten more Flanderized as the show's going on. Particularly of note, Flanderization comes from titular Ned Flanders, but still. Yeah, Homer's become a lot more stupid in recent years. He was still pretty simple in the first season, but I can definitely see where they're going for that. I'd actually say he's more angry than he's been in later seasons. Like, he's more likely to strangle Bart than he was in other seasons. Lisa has changed quite a bit, too. She was a bit more of an asshole. Like, she was smart, but she was actually kind of a smart aleck asshole in the first couple seasons. Like, there's more scenes of her fucking with Bart. There's more scenes of her being just a bit snooty. It's funny to see how that character's evolved. Bart himself actually hasn't changed much. Bart has actually stayed relatively the same from what I can see. He's still a bit of a smart out kid. He makes a lot more cocky one-liners that are actually smart and intelligent than I think he's, like, he's making more of the smart one-aleck lines. I'm starting to see that there's a lot of creations that The Simpsons had over its first couple seasons that have applied to my later life in general. Like, I think, I don't know this for certain, but I think the whole Jingle Bells, Batman Smells, Robin Laid an Egg, I think that came from The Simpsons. I can't be certain. And that astounds me, because I've known that, like, my whole life. So to know that that came from The Simpsons, that's kind of strange. And it came from the first episode, no less. The Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer rendition, where they add in other lines, too, might have also come from The Simpsons, and the very first episode, so I don't know. It's funny. Other characters have changed a lot, too. Namely, from the Simpsons household, the last character, who I think changed the most. Oh my god. Marge is hilarious in the first season. She is the best part of I love every single time she appears. She doesn't act too much different voice-wise or character-wise. It's just how lazy her character is. That's fantastic. She's just such a Simpson. In later seasons, they sort of play her off as her not being as much of a Simpson. Like, she and Lisa sort of detach themselves from Bart and Homer's usual antics. Though in the first season, she's all there for it. She's depressed when Homer wants to get rid of the TV in order for them to become a stronger family unit. Like, Homer's making that decision to become a stronger family unit. Marge isn't making that decision. Homer is. That's ridiculous to me. It shows that Homer sort of relegated a lot of his tasks to Marge that he did not have in later seasons. Like, Marge sort of adopted half of Homer. In the first season, Marge is just almost a nothing character, which is very strange to see. Like, she's just so forgettable, but at the same time so memorable, because you know that she's, like, gotten a lot more of a personality as the seasons go on. And I wouldn't say that Marge is exactly a very fleshed out character in the later seasons either, but she certainly has more of a personality. And they really glorify how simple her character is in the first season. Like, you're getting a lot of Bart. You're getting a ton of Bart in the first season that I've gotten so far. A little bit of Homer, teensy little bit of Lisa, and almost no Marge. Marge has not gotten the focus in an episode at all. But that being said, I'm pretty impressed at how the show's carrying on. Burns was almost a non-character as well. He's just sort of an angry boss. Smithers is the yes man, of course, but for some reason, in the first, 3 episodes or 4 episodes, this is very jarring, but Smithers is black. And not that I have a problem with that, but it's just strange to see. Like, it's not even, good-looking black. It almost looks like he's got a really strange suntan, and I don't understand. And then there's an episode immediately after showing Burns, where Homer's all for putting up signs and he gets fired. Then they cut straight to the next episode where they go to a company picnic, and Smithers is strangely white in that episode. Or it might not be that. They do a tour. No, the tour of the factory is the 3rd episode. And then they do the company picnic, and then Smithers is white. So I don't know if that's just an animation mistake or a disconnect between the writers and the animators, but for some reason, Smithers is black in the first 3 episodes. And it doesn't really change his voice. It doesn't change how his character functions. It's just sort of a thing. And I've never really seen anything like that. I don't know why they wouldn't have just kept him black or fixed him to make him white from the beginning. But for the first 3 episodes, Smithers has a suntan. I don't know if that's like a thing that's mentioned. I haven't ever heard that about The Simpsons, but it's a thing. I don't know. Also, the Simpsons police officers, your Wiggums, the other 2 guys, I forget what their names are, they're not as stupid as they appear in the later episodes, and they also wear black uniforms, which is interesting to see. Principal Skinner is sort of a non-character. He's like, "Hello, little boy." Like, it's the same voice, but it doesn't have any of the funny flair that his later iterations get. Otto is the same character. Like, Otto has gotten almost no difference. He still says, "You bite dude, yeah." He still has tattoos. He still drives the bus like a maniac. It's all there. Krabappel hasn't been shown yet, which will be an interesting thing to see when she first appears, considering she's the Simpsons character that has passed away. I don't know if there's any other Simpsons characters that have passed away, but she's the big name one that everyone notifies, the Simpsons character that passed away. It really is going to take, as Pie Guy said, probably the death of one of the main family members' voice actor in order to actually kill off the Simpsons at this point. They're on season 28. They're about to surpass Gunsmoke in episodes, which is insanity. The longest running animation cartoon, that's not enough. No, they had to surpass Gunsmoke. Which, good on you for that, but still, that's insanity. And you've been going through seasonal rot for the past, I'd say about 10 seasons, probably more. So I'm going to see at what point, like, I might start buying some of the later seasons too. I think they actually stopped making seasons after 17. They made 20 because it was such a special number, and then they stopped making season sets, in which case I'll probably just have to get, like, I don't know, a Hulu subscription. I have Netflix, so I could probably just start watching them on Netflix. This is sort of my own time. I might make some vlogs sort of talking about each individual episode, although these update car ride videos might actually be a good spot to sort of give my opinion about that. So who knows? Overall, the first season's very stunted, but it's not bad. It's not terrible. It's not as bad as I thought it would. There's a lot of fluff put into the finality of the episodes. Like, when it's the very end, they just sort of start shoving in a moral, which is very awkward, but it's also very 80s and 90s cartoon-esque in order to do that. So overall, it's a time capsule. It's obvious that they did not know what they were doing for the first season, as the box set mentions, but they still did something with it, which is interesting. I have gotten through 4 or 5 episodes. I think the last episode I watched was Bart the General. I believe that's the 4th episode. So that was the episode that introduced Nelson, who was not changed. Well, no, he's actually changed a lot. He's sort of gotten more character fleshing out. He was Flanderized at the beginning, but then fleshed out. And I think Pie Guy mentioned how Flanderizing them at the beginning and then fleshing them out is sort of the sign that the show is still has something going for it. Like, I do like. Wow, I just totally forgot his name. I just said his name, Nelson. Yeah, Nelson's getting more fleshed out with the later seasons that I've seen. So I think as a sign that the show does have still some potential is when they're able to flesh out some of the characters that they've kept Flanderized for so long, as opposed to Flanderizing characters that have universally had round, dynamic personalities, like Flanders. Flanders hasn't gotten much show, so I would say he's very no-character-esque at the beginning of the show. Then he gets some more characterization, and then he gets Flanderized. That's sort of the path Flanders takes, from my guess and assumption. The same with the rest of the Simpsons family. I don't know if the rest of them get Flanderized. I think Lisa starts to become more of a hippie, grammar Nazi-esque, like SJW type. I don't know if that's exactly the case, but something like that. Marge becomes a non-character again, from what I can tell. Alright. I hate this intersection. There's like a bunch of stop signs all over the fucking place, and it ruins everything when you get like 3 cars coming at the same one. Anyway, Homer probably just became more stupid, so he flanderized, though not nearly as bad as Ned, who became a religious nut. But Bart, again, I don't think Bart flanderized that much. I think he's still just the delinquent boy who doesn't do great in school, but can still have fun. Though I think he's gotten actually a little bit more fleshing out in terms of interacting with some of the other characters, like Principal Skinner. Again, I don't know. I'm going to have to tell you guys how that goes for me as I go along. Definitely going to tell you about some of the funnier episodes I watch. I'm going to round out the first season and move on to familiar territory with the second. Go back into unfamiliar territory from 3 to 5, back to familiar for 6, and unfamiliar for 7, and onward. I mean, there's definitely been some episodes that I've watched, and there's some episodes that I'm really looking forward to seeing again, because I haven't seen them in forever. I remember there being a Spelling Bee episode in which there was a part at the very end where there's a kid and Lisa both in the Spelling Bee, and the guy's like, alright, your word is weather. Can you use it in a sentence? I don't know whether the weather will change. And I seem to recall him using those exact same voice inflections, and the joke, of course, being that weather is spelled different from weather. Like the whether or not, as opposed to weather, as in the climate and the weather, fall, the precipitation, all that shit. That type of weather. Which I found funny. If I was in that situation, I'd be like, can I ask for a definition? But the kid was stupid and didn't ask for a definition. I don't know. That's one of the scenes I remember. I remember another episode, this is a later season, in which Ned and Homer become bounty hunters. I remember that being a late season episode that I actually kind of enjoyed. And of course, I've seen plenty of like incremental moments throughout Simpsons history, specifically through YouTube, that I was unaware of, that were funny moments too. Mostly by a guy called The Things I Can't Find Otherwise. So I will be looking into that. I should probably turn on my high beams now since I'm going down this rural path. This is a very weird road because of how it's laid out. The road is incredibly thin compared to the rest of standardized paths. Like, my car just barely fits on the right side of the lane. It's always just a little bit unnerving when another car comes driving by, but it should be late enough so it's not that big of a problem. And even if it is, my car's small enough that it's not that big of a deal. That said, that's probably the end of most of the stuff I wanted to update on. I don't think there's really anything else to go on. I've rambled a lot. I've talked on a couple topics. It became Simpsons talk near the end, but that's essentially it. Is there anything else I can round out this nice little update video with? Well, not much. I could talk about some future projects I want to do other than We Would Like the Summer. They and what's the other one called? Lost Age are 2 options on the iPad that I could be playing, which would be very fun options, especially considering Lost Age forced itself to become an iPad-only game. That's bullshit, by the way. I don't know what happened with that. Lost Age used to be a game I played on my phone, my iPod Touch, I should say, back in the day, but for some reason it got an HD version that you can only play on the iPad. That's a small reason as to why I actually got the iPad. Not a very large reason, considering, again, it's mostly for note-taking for the anime talk show. Speaking of which, I didn't really delve into the anime talk show reasoning, other than just saying I couldn't find the pen gels. But more on that. As I said, I'm going to be doing Usagi Drop, which again is a fun show. It's going to be interesting to do that. It should be shorter than the initial anime talk show, episode 1, or Animax, whatever the hell I'm calling it nowadays. I just need to start taking notes on it. I'm going to watch the whole show again. I'm going to get that kick, and I'm just going to be like, alright, got free time today, let's do it. Again, these next 2 weeks would actually be pretty nice for that. It would be lovely if I could actually, take some written notes on my iPad, but hey, if push comes to shove, I can just type out most of the notes I want to take. It's just the situation where I want to be able to type notes and not have to pause the episode like I did for Glasslip. When I did Glasslip, I wrote out all the notes by hand, and I felt like I constantly needed to pause the episode whenever anything important happened. I don't think I'm going to need to do that That was more out of spite than anything else. I paused the episode, I should say that. I'm just like, alright, pause, write about how stupid that scene is, continue. Pause, write about how stupid that scene is, continue. Pause, write about how much I hate this character, continue. It was like that idea. With this, I'm just going to be taking notes all throughout the series of, like, certain character dialogue, interactions, certain aspects of the music, how it's played, how the animation looks, just stuff like that. It's going to be a lot more note-taking as opposed to literally note by note exactly what happens. I could actually pioneer a new style of video by just creating the ultimate abridged series of a show by just summing everything up in like maybe 30 minutes time. Just going like, this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens. Maybe that's not pioneering it, but like the style I would go for maybe would be a little bit more pioneered, because it requires a lot of focus on just everything that happens in the show and just sort of summing it up in such a sarcastic, unintuitive, well, not unintuitive, but like sarcastic, unfriendly, just I hate what I'm watching way. I don't know if other shows, I guess you could go for those shows that are like 23 things wrong with Frozen in 17 minutes, like videos like that. But either way, that is probably it. I'm going to wait until I park to fully stop off the recording. If you guys have any comments, be sure to leave them in the YouTube comments section. Zuper, we will probably have a physical discussion about this, either on recording or off recording, so I don't know what's up with that. Anyone who wants to comment, let me know what your current situation with any of the things I've said is. Let me know any comments about that. And I'm going to try and start uploading more. I say that now that the summer's starting, but again, I have an online course and a physical course to be attending to, and work. The cycle never ends. But the physical course will only last a month, and then the online course won't be too strenuous onto my physical life, so it'll just be a month of summer courses, and then we're back to summer situation, in which work will be the only strenuous occurrence. And not even strenuous, it's just time-consuming. That said, I am done here. So, have a good one, y'all. I'm gonna go find something to eat. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do. Oh, that's something I could comment about. Apparently, ramen noodles made new flavors. I didn't know that happened. For the longest time, it's been nothing but shrimp, beef, and shrimp, beef, and chicken. They made new flavors. They made a taco tortilla shell one, and they made a chili one. I believe I got the tortilla shell one. I'm going to give those a try. Hell, maybe I'll go give those a try right now. I don't know, actually. I have something else to go try. Who knows? See you guys.